I'm very disappointed in you, Rain.
Sir, I can try again. I'm still strong enough.
You will be as quiet as possible. Someone else is stepping in to correct your mistake.
Sir, I won't let my guard down again.
Oh, I do hope I'm not interrupting anything.
You must be Strife.
At your service. Do you need something stolen, or do you need somebody killed?
Stolen. You can rough the victim up a bit if you like, but he must be kept alive.
At least I get to have some fun. What's my target?
A katana. You'll be stealing it from this man. He goes by Crimson Rogue. He has a similar skill set to yours.
Oh, another sword mage. I do enjoy a challenge.
He shouldn't be a challenge. He lacks the experience to fight someone like you.
That's a shame.
Just can't have him running free with that sword.
Oh well, easy money. Where do you want the sword when I get it?
Contact me when you have the katana. I'll give you an address. Remember, Crimson must be left alive.
But don't worry. I have the perfect sword for the job.
So, it's not just that I'm magic. The sword has to be magic too.
Right. I mean, any Joe Schmuck can tell he can pick up a magic sword and swing it around. The trick is, it takes an actual sword mage to be able to use its latent powers.
So then, what can this sword do? All I've seen it do thus far is cut through rain.
Beats me. I'd have to be there to tell you what kind of sword it is. So, do me a favor and don't cut your hand off.
Don't worry about that. My job kind of necessitates swordsmanship. I know what I'm doing.
What is your job anyway?
Please.
Right. Oh, by the way, I forgot. Congratulations on finding out what kind of mage you are.
Compliments don't suit you. Where's the snark?
Fucking took you long enough.
There it is. By the way, there was a weird blonde woman who teleported into my house and gave me a puzzle box. I mean, she told me what my magic was, but the whole thing was just odd. Do you know anything about that?
That sounds like Slade. She works for us, so don't worry, she's fine.
She robbed me.
She's a contractor?
Whatever. Look, I gotta go film an episode, but we should talk more about this later, alright?
Alright, but do me a favor, don't get a big head over this.
Hey, I'm awesome, remember? What could go wrong?
Do you have any idea how many references I can pull up that prove those words are cursed?
Bye, GC. Fuck yeah. At long last, we're taking a look at one of the greatest book series I've ever read, Harry Potter. It's imaginative, it's subtle, it's ingenious, and it spiked interest in kids reading. I remember as the series was picking up, you'd have people waiting outside of bookstores just aching to get a copy of the newest installment, a phenomenon which is sadly all too rare. And the series as a whole has so many great moments that I'd love to dish about, but I have to try to contain myself since we're only here to talk about the first book. Author J.K. Rowling has done an incredible service by giving us The Boy Who Lived. In the early to mid-90s, she was just scribbling notes on what bits of scrap paper she could find, which would later evolve into 7 books. This move later gained Rowling enough attention and success that she became a billionaire. So remember guys, never let your humble beginnings stop you from being awesome. She later became the first billionaire to lose her financial status due to charitable donations. She's not just a great writer, she's a great person as well! The first book in the series became Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, which was published in 1997. Yeah, it's that old. However, just like when Philip Pullman's Northern Lights became the Golden Compass instead, the title was changed when it crossed the Atlantic to Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. The publisher worried that American kids wouldn't want to read a book with the word philosopher in the title, so Rowling suggested this as a new name. Regardless, the book was a solid introduction to the series, bringing multiple characters, spells, creatures, and so many other things to life. After the third book, The Prisoner of Azkaban, exploded the series into the mainstream, a movie deal was not far behind. Released in 2001, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was an instant success, both financially and critically. It launched the acting careers of Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson, and made them all household names. As I'm writing this, the first movie in the series is the 30th highest grossing movie of all time, earning just shy of $1 billion in the box office. It was also directed by Chris Columbus, whose work we've seen on this show before with Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. For the three of you out there who have never seen a Harry Potter movie before, don't worry, because The Sorcerer's Stone is a much better movie than The Lightning Thief. Harry Potter has also had a significant cultural impact as well. Terms like Muggle, Quidditch, and Hogwarts are all now commonplace, and tons of people out there, not just hardcore readers, have favorite aspects of the series that they enjoy. It's no secret that I've held the Harry Potter series up multiple times as an incredible example of writing and literature, but now we get to explore why. So hold on to something, because we're checking out some real magic here as we vanish into Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. But before we start, I'd like to give a special thank you to our new sponsor, the new hit cooking show, NPC's Kitchen, in which NPC teaches you how to cook recipes from your favorite video games, books, and movies. Thanks, Crimson! Hey everyone, before you start this video, click here to learn how to make your very own butterbeer, as seen in the Harry Potter series. That's tasty. And I would just like to point out that paying your rent is not the same as sponsoring the show! The movie opens to Professor Albus Dumbledore, headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and Professor Minerva McGonagall, played by Richard Harris and Maggie Smith respectively.
Are the rumors true, Albus?
I'm afraid so, Professor. The good and the bad.
They're here, along with Rubius Hagrid, to deliver the infant Harry Potter to his aunt and uncle's house. Harry is fresh off his victory against the dark wizard Voldemort, who, if you don't know, was basically Magic Hitler. Seriously though, how great and powerful can you be if you lose a fight against a baby? I kid, of course, though this scene makes me wonder about another aspect of the wizarding world.
Do you really think it's safe? Leaving him with these people? I've watched them all day. They're the worst sort of muggles imaginable.
So, does the wizarding world not have orphanages? Or foster homes? Okay, again, I'm nitpicking. Dumbledore explains that not only are Vernon and Petunia Dursley the only family Harry has left, but Harry would be better suited growing up away from the fame he would get for defeating Voldemort. Still, that could make for an interesting fanfic. A decade goes by, and Harry's on the cusp of his 11th birthday. But that gets completely overshadowed by another birthday, that of Harry's cousin Dudley, who may be the biggest spoiled brat on the planet.
How many are there?
36. Counted them myself.
36? But last year I had 37!
Yes, well, some of them are quite a bit bigger than last year.
I don't care how big they are!
And just like that, every person watching who's against corporal punishment starts to reconsider their options. They all go to the zoo, and after a so far uneventful trip to the reptile house, Harry makes an interesting discovery.
Watching people press their ugly faces in on you. Can you hear me?
This scene is relatively minor in the grand scheme of the rest of the movie, but the reason I bring it up is because this is what I consider one of Rowling's greatest strengths in her writing. She is a master of Chekhovs Gun. For those who don't know, Chekhovs gun is a literary technique first associated with author Anton Chekhov. Basically, it means that every memorable element to a story should be relevant and irreplaceable. This is often shown as bringing in something minor or benign early on, only to have it become essential later. In the case of the scene with the snake, we discover in Chamber of Secrets that Harry can speak Parseltongue, the language of the snakes. When Dudley shoves Harry aside though, the glass in the pen vanishes and the snake goes free.
Thanks.
Anytime.
Then the glass reappears, trapping Dudley inside. You know, there's something strangely symbolic about Dudley being inside a snake exhibit. Uncle Vernon is not happy with Harry, blaming him for the mishap at the zoo.
What happened?
I swear I don't know. 1 minute the glass was there and then it was gone. It was like magic.
There's no such thing as magic.
Considering all the crap that Harry goes through, it's amazing that he's not a serial killer. Soon after, the letters start arriving.
Dad, look! Harry's got a letter! Hey, give it back! It's mine!
Yours. They'll be writing to you.
Vernon recognizes the name Hogwarts, and as more letters start to arrive, he does everything in his power to prevent Harry from getting them.
He seals up the mail slot, he shreds the letters, he burns them, but he forgets that he's dealing with wizards.
That's it! We're going away! Far away! Where they can't find us!
They escape to a cabin in the middle of nowhere, but that's hardly enough. Hagrid arrives and finally has a chance to explain what the letters were all supposed to be for.
Dear Mr. Potter, we are pleased to inform you that you have been accepted at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
God, how I wish it was that easy to get into an elite school.
Dear sir, we are writing to let you know that you have been randomly accepted into the Yale School of Management. We know you didn't apply, but apparently our director of admissions is rolling on Molly. Good luck, I guess, and we will see you in the fall.
Hey, I said an elite school. Anyway, Hagrid offers Harry the choice to come along to magic school, which, like any of us, Harry quickly accepts. They need to get a few school supplies, and the best place to do that is Diagon Alley. Here, a witch or wizard can buy just about anything they need, and Harry buys plenty with the inheritance his parents left him.
I still need a wand.
A wand? Well, you want Ollivander's. There ain't no place better.
Ollivander, played by John Hurt, shows Harry several wands until they find the right one. An 11-inch holly with a phoenix feather. Although, saying that out loud makes it sound more like a sex move. So it finally comes time for Harry to leave on the Hogwarts Express. After a little trouble finding platform 9 3/4, Harry runs into the Weasley family.
Now all you've got to do is walk straight at the wall between platforms 9 and 10. Best do it at a bit of a run if you're nervous.
Good luck.
These two are going to be a couple one day. On board, Ron joins Harry in his cabin since everywhere else is full.
Anything off the trolley, dears?
No thanks. I'm all set.
Since Ron just has a bag of smushed up taquitos, Harry decides to buy everything that he can, and the two of them go to town on wizard candy. And then Hermione shows up, played by Emma Watson.
I'm Hermione Granger. And you are? Ron Weasley. Pleasure.
These two are going to be a couple one day. The train arrives at Hogwarts, and all the first years are taken to the castle by boat to be sorted by the magical sorting hat. The hat sees into the students' minds to judge which of the 4 houses they should belong to. The houses are Gryffindor, for the brave students, Slytherin, for the cunning assholes, and then Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw, which are just there to round everything out. Just before the test, though, they meet Harry's foil and resident asshole for the next 7 years, Draco Malfoy, played by Tom Felton.
You'll soon find out that some wizarding families are better than others, Potter. You don't want to go making friends with the wrong sort. I can help you there. I think I can tell the wrong sort for myself, thanks.
Ron and Hermione get sorted into Gryffindor easily enough. Malfoy gets Slytherin before the hat even touches his head.
Slytherin!
And Harry gets into Gryffindor after some teasing by the hat.
But where to put you?
Not Slytherin. Not Slytherin.
Not Slytherin, eh?
Although, and I admit this is a very minor point, I can't help but notice the places already set for the first years at each house's table. With the way the hat works, this is basically a game of chance. So, statistically speaking, shouldn't it be possible that one year, all the new students get crowded into one house?
Slytherin! Slytherin! Slytherin!
And with that, I would like to welcome our 31st new student into Slytherin. As a reminder to our first years, and the rest of you, genocidal rampages are frowned upon. After getting settled into their new houses, Harry and Ron experience their classes together. Transfiguration with Professor McGonagall.
That was bloody brilliant.
Oh, thank you for that assessment, Mr. Weasley.
Charms with Professor Flitwick.
Oh, and don't forget to swish and flick the shit out of your wand like this.
But perhaps nothing catches our attention quite like the great Alan Rickman's performance as Professor Severus Snape.
Now, what would 3 young Gryffindors such as yourselves be doing inside on a day like this?
These two are going to be a couple one day. Damn you, Internet. Okay, stepping away from the movie for a moment because I don't know how many chances I'll actually have to say this, but Alan Rickman was just incredible. He has this engrossing presence about him that you can't turn away from. Very few people can actually pull off the quiet, dangerous voice, no matter how much they like to tell themselves they can, but Rickman has that shit down to a science.
Turn to page 394.
And take a moment to think of all the great characters he played. No matter what role he had, he nailed it. My favorite performance of his coming from Galaxy Quest.
By Grabthar's hammer. What a savings.
So thank you, Mr. Rickman, for your talent and performances. I'll remember you fondly. Always. Back to the movie. Harry and the others attend flying class with Madam Hooch.
Welcome to your first flying lesson.
So, no safety lesson, no beginner safety gear, no expectations. Just gonna put the kids in a position where they could kill themselves. This school needs to seriously reconsider its hiring policies. Harry takes to flying naturally, which comes in handy when Malfoy steals an orb from Neville Longbottom, the lovable dope that nearly got himself killed.
Give it here, Malfoy, or I'll knock you off your broom!
Is that so? Have it your way then.
Harry manages to catch it before it hits the ground, and this apparently serves as his tryouts for the Gryffindor Quidditch team.
Have you heard Harry Potter's the new Gryffindor Seeker? I always knew he'd do well.
We'll talk about Quidditch in a little bit, because the plot moves steadily forward as the trio accidentally makes their way to the 3rd floor, thanks to a magic staircase.
Filcher's gone. Probably thinks his door's locked. It was locked, and for good reason.
The kids discover an enormous 3-headed dog napping, and run screaming from the room.
It was standing on a trapdoor, which means it wasn't there by accident. It's guarding something.
This will be important for later. After escaping the might of Fluffy the Cerberus, Harry works with Oliver Wood, the Gryffindor Quidditch team captain, to learn how Quidditch is played. And this might be a controversial opinion, but I don't like Quidditch.
I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that.
Listen, giving the Wizards a unique sport is a great idea, but Quidditch is a tangled, confusing mess of a game. In Muggle sports, like basketball, baseball, football, or the European classic, Fake the Injuries, there's only a single ball. This allows the audience to follow along easily, even with a crowded field. In Quidditch, there are 4 balls: the Quaffle, 2 Bludgers, and the Golden Snitch, and effectively 3 different games happening all at the same time. There's a basketball game with the Quaffle, a killer baseball game with the Bludgers, and a keep-away game with a Snitch. It's too much to really enjoy all at once, so we just get caught up watching the Seekers duke it out, making the other 6 players on each team almost irrelevant.
You catch this, the game's over. You catch this, Potter, and we win.
The fact that the Seekers can earn so many points all at once doesn't help this further.
He's got the snitch! Harry Potter receives 150 points for catching the snitch!
Making the other points almost a complete waste of time. And when we do get to the Quidditch match between Gryffindor and Slytherin, Harry wins by nearly swallowing the snitch, and we never hear about any of the other matches for the rest of the movie. The book mentioned the rest of the tournament, even if Harry wasn't able to participate in the last game. Also, the book included rather colorful commentary from Lee Jordan, who's simply happy to be here in the movie. Still, Quidditch is good for Harry because now he feels he's earned all the attention he's been getting. He does have a talent for the sport, just like his father before him. Plus, his talent for flying comes up multiple times later in the series, so establishing this early makes sense. In the next class, Professor Flitwick teaches the students the levitation spell Wingardium Leviosa, which Hermione nails, emasculating Ron in the process.
She's a nightmare, honestly. No wonder she hasn't got any friends. I think she heard you.
Later that night, the kids are celebrating Halloween at dinner when suddenly...
In the dungeon! Troll in the dungeon!
Thought you ought to know.
The kids are led back to the rooms, but Harry and Ron remember that Hermione was last seen crying in the bathroom and didn't know about the troll, so they leave to rescue her. Just as well, because the troll has actually wandered from the dungeon and into the girls' bathroom, where it has Hermione cornered. Ah, the Gennaro defense. Very effective. Thanks to all three of them working together, they manage to defeat the troll, and Ron learns the Wingardium Leviosa spell.
Cool.
And what does this trial get them?
Not many first-year students could take on a fully grown mountain troll and live to tell the tale. 5 points will be awarded to each of you.
And more importantly, they're all friends now. So Christmas comes to Hogwarts, and Harry is surprised to get presents, quite possibly for the first time in his life.
I've got presents. Yeah.
Many come from Ron's mother, who is awesome by the way, but one mysterious present comes without a name listed.
Your father left this in my possession before he died. It is time it was returned to you. Use it well.
It turns out that it's an invisibility cloak, whose importance comes into play multiple times throughout the series, but for now, Harry uses it well by sneaking into the library. However, the night guard, Filch, comes into the room just as Harry's checking his Facebook. The book was better, home to more cringy puns than any other show in the Review universe.
Who is it? Show yourself!
Filch overhears Harry, and Harry has to run into another section where he comes across the Mirror of Erised. And if you've never seen this before, Erised is desire spelled backwards, so when Harry looks into the mirror, he sees what his heart wants most: his parents. Harry comes back to visit the mirror a few times after that, until Dumbledore catches him and explains that people have wasted away looking into it.
That is why tomorrow it will be moved to a new home. And I must ask you not to go looking for it again.
Again, Chekhovs gun. I feel like I should be using a counting gag for this. Spring comes and the kids finally get an idea of what Fluffy might be guarding.
I checked this out weeks ago for a bit of light reading.
This is light.
Yes, now quit being a pansy.
Nicholas Flamel is the only known maker of the Sorcerer's Stone.
The what?
Honestly, don't you two read?
Read a book, read a book, read a motherfucking book!
The Sorcerer's Stone is a legendary substance with astonishing powers. It'll transform any metal into pure gold and produces the elixir of life, which will make the drinker immortal.
With this new information, the three of them go visit Hagrid to ask him what he knows and to try to push charges against Snape, who's been acting very suspicious this whole time.
We'll have another little chat soon, when you've had time to decide where your loyalties lie.
However, they're out past Curfew, which Malfoy discovers, and he races off to tell Professor McGonagall about it. And then Professor McGonagall delivers some overly harsh sentencing.
Therefore, as punishment for your actions, 50 points will be taken.
50?
Each.
Okay, I call bullshit. The point system doesn't make sense here. Taking a few points away, I can understand. But losing 150 points for something so minor seems excessive, especially for a first-time offense, as far as McGonagall knows. Also, compare this to the troll scene from earlier.
Not many first-year students could take on a fully grown mountain troll and live to tell the tale.
Beat up a mountain troll, earn 10 points. Stay up past your bedtime, lose 150.
And to ensure it doesn't happen again, all 4 of you will receive detention.
Excuse me, Professor. Perhaps I heard you wrong. I thought you said the 4 of us.
No, you heard me correctly, Mr. Malfoy. You see, honourable as your intentions were, you too were out of bed after hours.
Yeah, seriously, Malfoy, what did you expect?
Mom, Johnny didn't have his eyes closed when we said grace. I saw.
As punishment, the kids are taken into the forest because something's been killing unicorns lately and they need to investigate. This is slightly different from the book, in which Neville was punished instead of Ron. And now for your consideration, some condensed plot. See, Hagrid had adopted a baby dragon, which he had to give up because private dragon ownership is illegal, so Harry and Hermione helped release it to some friends of Ron's brother Charlie, who raises dragons in Romania, but the two of them were caught by Malfoy wandering the halls late at night, and Neville just got lost and bumped into McGonagall because he's Neville. Anyway, back in the forest, the group comes across a puddle of silvery goop.
Hagrid, what is that?
What we're here for. See that? Please do not sample the frosting. It's made of mercury. You will die.
The goop is fresh unicorn blood, meaning something has attacked another unicorn and is in the forest tonight, which Harry and Draco discover.
Like a bitch.
Harry gets saved by a centaur, who reveals that the cloaked figure was none other than Voldemort.
Now what do we do? We go down the trapdoor. Tonight.
With time running out, the trio decides to steal the Sorcerer's Stone that very night, before Voldemort or Snape can. However, Neville tries to stop them.
Neville, I'm really sorry about this. Petrificus totalis.
Well, that was effortless. Inside Fluffy's chamber, they find an enchanted harp playing, which has lulled the Great Beast to sleep. They manage to get through the trap door, narrowly avoiding 3 sets of teeth as the harp stops playing. They land on the second trap, a pit filled with a plant called Devil's Snare. Oh, come on, they're minors! Hermione is the first one to escape, figuring out that relaxing releases the trap. Oh, and so does sunlight.
Solar flare!
The next 2 wards go by easily enough, with Ron getting knocked out during a game of giant chess. I feel like this could be easily circumvented with a small payload of plastic explosives. The movie skips over the traps laid by Quirrell and Snape, those being fighting a giant troll and some logic puzzle involving potions. That's probably for the best because the troll was already knocked out in the book, and the potion puzzle should have been depleted if they're following Snape. Hermione stays behind to watch over Ron, and Harry goes to fight Snape in the final chamber. But he doesn't run into Snape.
You? No, it can't be. Snape, he was the...
Yes, he does seem the type, doesn't he?
Snape's involvement was a red herring. Quirrell was manipulating everyone the entire year, quietly figuring out how to get past all these traps under the direction of his dark overlord.
Speak to him.
Master, you are not strong enough.
I have strength enough for this.
Oh God! Oh God! That is the second worst deformation I have ever seen.
Quick, start the reactor.
In a dramatic turn of events, Voldemort is alive, barely, and is fused to the back of Quirrell's head. He demands that Harry tell him where the Sorcerer's Stone is, which Harry discovers has magically appeared into his pocket.
Kill him!
It looks like Harry is doomed, when suddenly...
What is this magic?
See kids, this is why you should always wash your hands. Quirrell dies, Harry passes out, and Voldemort's soul runs away to wait for a sequel. Harry wakes up in the hospital, where he meets Dumbledore, who explains what happened in the last scene.
What happened down in the dungeons between you and Professor Quirrell is a complete secret. So, naturally, the whole school knows.
The two questions I think everyone wants answered most at this point are, how did Harry get the stone, and how did Quirrell die? The first was because Dumbledore put an enchantment on the stone so that only someone who wanted to find the stone but didn't want to use it could find it.
That is one of my more brilliant ideas.
The second was because...
Love, Harry. Love.
So, yeah, I guess ponies did it. So with Voldemort defeated and the Sorcerer's Stone destroyed by Dumbledore, the only thing left to do is tally up the house's points and award the House Cup, which Slytherin has apparently won once again.
Yes, yes, well done, Slytherin, well done, Slytherin. However, recent events must be taken into account. And I have a few last-minute points to award.
Harry, Ron, and Hermione all earn 160 points between them for getting through the traps, with an extra 10 for Neville for standing up to the trio. Although, considering that Harry defeated Magic Hitler, I feel like Dumbledore should be able to give Harry 1,000 points and make this whole climax even more of a farce. And so Gryffindor wins the House Cup, because fuck the Junior Death Eaters.
Gryffindor wins the House Cup.
Seriously, everyone but Slytherin is cheering. I think they're just glad the asshole district lost. Sir, are you really allowed to do this? Fuck you, I'm Magic Santa. So the year ends happily for Harry, and the train takes him back to the Dursleys, where he'll wait for the next year's adventure to begin in the Chamber of Secrets. This book is great, and the movie's pretty good too. Certainly a rare combination if this show's taught us anything. It's not often that I'll sit down to watch a PG movie and think about how good a time I had watching it. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is a great movie for anyone to watch, introducing magic and the characters and creating a solid foundation for the following 7 movies. And so much care and detail went into every shot. The effects, costumes, locations, everything! Everyone working on this clearly knew what they were doing. The CG could have aged better and the acting could have used some work, but these are kids we're dealing with, and they improve quickly throughout the next few movies. This is a great start to a great series. The movie gets a 4 out of 5. Like I said multiple times before, I love this series. It's not perfect, but it's done a lot to encourage kids reading. The first book sets everything up just right, showing us who Harry is and pushing him along in just the right way for him to grow into a hero as the series progresses. He's kind, despite his upbringing, confident, despite not being raised in the wizarding world, and he's always working for the greater good, even if it risks getting him in huge trouble. He's a great character, and the wizarding world is a wonderful reality. It's not perfect, like my thoughts on Quidditch and a few plot holes here and there, but it's still really solid. If you haven't read this series, do yourself a favor and buy these books. The Sorcerer's Stone gets a 5 out of 5. Unlike a lot of the movies we review here, which are really just quick cash grabs that play off name recognition, the writers for Harry Potter really paid attention to what they were doing. Although there are topics and plot points that the movie couldn't fit in, it still did an admirable job fitting in as much as it could. The plot and themes are largely kept in place, and multiple important character moments are left in. The movie does so much to capture the feeling of the book that, frankly, I think it'd be unrealistic to expect more. This is how adaptations should be. As an adaptation, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone gets a 5 out of 5. If you've never read the Harry Potter series before, you are seriously missing out. This is one of the best books I can recommend to another reader. Though I'll always credit Philip Pullman for kickstarting my writing career, J.K. Rowling gave me the goalpost to aim for.